I'm floating through the clouds with the medieval theologian, Mr. Eckhart, and my daughter, Quacky. Oh, hello there. I'm sick right now with the flu, and that's why I'm lying in bed. And that's why I haven't made any videos this week. But I didn't want to miss out on a Music Mondays, so here we are. Yay! And just as a complete change from K-pop, this week I want to talk about a composition by the American minimalist composer John Adams, named the Harmonielehre, and I'm just too sick to pronounce that correctly. I was introduced to minimalist music from the soundtrack of the video game Civilization 4, because in that video game, when your civilization progresses to the modern age, the game music that represents that time and place is all music composed by John Adams. And I always thought it was really interesting and enchanting music, so I went and looked it up and I wondered what it was. And it turns out that minimalist music is a type of modern compositional style which involves typically using very small phrases of musical motifs and repeating them again and again with very minimal variation between each repetition until it builds up to something completely different. And you might be most familiar in terms of minimalist music with the piano music of Philip Glass, who you hear in a lot of kind of dreary, distressing movie soundtracks. What's interesting about John Adams is that among minimalist composers, as a kind of joke, he's sometimes referred to as a maximalist, and that's because he still does the repetition of musical phrases, but he also tends to pull on full orchestra arrangements and the sound of American big band, big brass kind of sections. So they're all really kind of full on, huge swelling pieces which still use that kind of framework of repeating small musical phrases. And for me, what's really interesting about John Adams' work is that it's really, minimalist music for me has this kind of sense of yearning because of the repetition of the passage is never entirely resolved musically. So because it keeps going, it has this sense of searching or displacement, which I find really interesting, and you just kind of drift off listening to it, and it's really great. And I hope that you can have a delirious fever dream listening to this music. Anyway, bye.